we'll see how many pages we can get through today. This chapter I hadn't finished yesterday is still around 10 pages. So I'm on page 46 if anybody has the book. And I'm just going to go back a little bit here. I was talking about ADHD syndromes and other mental illnesses. We're, I think, on different things that like are there. It is unfortunate to witness that in so many countries in the dark forces have swayed children born as indigos and violet souls into an attraction to the addictions of these habit-forming substance. This sinister plan is designed to blind the soul and stop the wondrous contributions and wisdom they are meant to bring into this planet, and for enhancement of their own evolution as well. This is a trap to many of the youth of this world are falling into. Nearly all those precious souls came here at this time of Earth's transition with a goal of accomplishing great missions. We know a great percentage of these precious children will wake up in time, but for those who will not, the drug abuse and addiction will mark a descent of consciousness in their evolution and major setback. What will begin to make the greatest difference through this, the right information and knowledge of the truth. And that's where I'm always about the truth, trying to find the truth. It's so important. And if you really have the knowledge, then you can go, wow, I'm going to work on changing this and I'll try to help other people understand it. Peer pressure has played a very negative influence in your society. It is the giving up of one's power and value in order to avoid appearing different or to feel accepted by others. I say to you, dare to be different. It is a sign of maturity and sovereignty. But everybody just wants to fit in, and that doesn't help you. You need to become and step out and be your real true self. And that's what I've spent my whole life doing. And like I say, it's given me a really, really difficult, hard life, but I am here. Okay, Ephraim. So the next one, it says, realize that there is no one as efficient as an ex-drug user to convince others to stay clean. It's like me, I drank, I did drugs and stuff like that. So I try to help other people to realize, if I can do this, you can do it. If I can create a really amazing good life, so can you. I mean, I started my own business and everything, and in the past I never thought I could do that as a drunk or an alcoholic. And over the 34 years I've helped lots and lots and lots of people. I don't rely on AA, I don't rely on anything, and like I say, I get up every day and I'm thankful for the life I have. Without a doubt, the time is now at hand when incarnated souls on this planet are left to face the choices of getting off the pot or leaving their present incarnation for another sphere of evolution, less evolved than here, where they will continue to learn their lessons. We hope that many, when faced with the final choice, will make the right choice. You live in a society evolving on a planet of free choice. Yes, where people can freely experience and experiment with their choices. Remember that all the choices you make from day to day and what the intentions you hold in your heart and mind have significant consequences for you now and for your future. So every choice you make really, really is important. And what you're going to do, if you make a choice, are you going to live by it? We ask you to pray for these precious children for grace and divine intervention. We ask those who will be reading this material or hearing about it to defend the youth of the world in a whirlwind of love, the blue flame and the violet flame for their protection. So if you got to send your kids to school in places, ask God to put a blue and a purple flame around them all the time. Even you, when you're going places, ask to have a blue and a purple flame around you. If you got to go into town and you got to go into a store or anything, ask for these energies. They're there to help you. We ask you to also ask their protection by the archangels. These are spiritual tools that are very, very important. If you know someone using drugs or teachers open to concepts of higher consciousness, give them the information or give them as much as you think they can understand. Share your wisdom with them. Information and knowledge are some of the best tools to transform consciousness. You may not interfere with anyone's free will, but you may offer someone the gift of knowledge. It will allow the person to make the enlightened choice, perhaps for the first time. And like I say, the more you understand this, the more a person goes, whoa. Because when I wanted to get off booze and drugs and that, I didn't know where to go or what to do. And then an old medicine man said, up there, this is what they say. You get to choose. You want to be a drunk and an idiot? It's here. If you want this life you've always searched for, it's here. Make your choice. And I made that choice. Here I am 34 years later. I had to do a lot of work to undo all the subconscious implants and all kinds of silly thoughts and beliefs I had to undo. And it took lots and lots of years and work to change that. And like I say, when you start into that, a lot of times you get mad at yourself. Don't do that. You know, sometimes you go back and you visit something a few times. Don't get mad at yourself. Know you're doing the work, and somewhere in the future, you're going to be living a really good life. Yeah, everything is unlearning. Right from the time you were a little child, you got to unlearn so much from all kinds of cultures, all kinds of imprints and beliefs and bullshit from school and people. And there's so much of it, and it's all garbage. Because we're all God, we're all genius, we're all intelligence, we all deserve beautiful things, but the world made us believe we were not deserving, and, you know, or we're ugly, or we're this, whatever it is that keeps you in a dysfunctional way. It's like, erase that. Time to change it. A lot of people falsely believe they are on a high spiritual path by taking drugs. And I know lots of people, ever since I was a teenager, I've heard people saying that. And I'm like, no, there's something here that needs to be really looked at. Those who think they are on a high spiritual path by taking drugs because they have experiences of altered realities do not realize that their experience takes them to a lower level of the astral plane. What they experience is always a far cry from the joy of ecstasy and the etheric planes than the dwelling places of higher conscious. There is a very distinctive difference between the astral plane and the realms of light. The etheric plane, or the realms of light, begin to be experienced to some extent at higher levels of the fourth dimension, much more fully in the fifth dimension and beyond. That's why you got to work through the fourth dimension. And it's a minefield. It's crazy. The astral plane is rightly called the plane of duality, relatively and spiritual unconsciousness, where there is little or no light, and all that one sees and perceives is distorted and fragmented compared to the realm of light. In the astral plane, truth and divinity are no longer understood. It is also considered an emotional plane, a giant pool for all the unfulfilled desires and negative emotions of mankind that have been created in separation from God. Consider it also a place of great illusion, because that plane has the ability to mimic in a deceptive manner those unfulfilled desires and emotions. More often than not, it presents an illusion of a world containing levels of beauty and pleasure that can become very seductive to the soul, but not align with their soul path. It projects all the deception of the human consciousness, at times very well camouflage, creating illusions of something that appears much better than it actually is. The astral plane is always devious, distorted, alluring, and deceitful. There are different levels of astral planes for the higher levels of that illusion to the lowest. So you can go to the highest or the lowest. The more you go into the higher, more clarity you get. What you call the bottom of the pit Until the astral plane becomes totally clear of human negativity, desires, and emotions, the vibrations there will not carry anyone very high on the waves of light, not even near the etheric plane. Thus, drug use can never bring an experience of light unless the right substance carrying the right vibrations are used appropriately. But in your present world, you no longer have access to those former plants, and those children of my heart are just about extinct and very rare to come by on the surface. The younger children of this generation are very brilliant and psychic. They know when they are told the truth and when they are deceived. You can't lie to these kids, but people think they can lie to them all the time. You can't. They are born with different levels of perception that most of you were. Many of them who will read our information through the writings will be able to recognize the truth of it and embrace it fully. And that's where, if you could get kids to read these books, it's going to really, really help them. And if they're being somebody saying they have ADHD, don't listen to that. Stop putting them on pills and stuff like that. Many of them who will read our information through the writings will be able to recognize the truth of it and embrace it fully. Unfortunately, there has been very little written about the spiritual consequence of drug abuse. Some enlightening writings have been published about the subject, but most information has eluded you or been suppressed. And that's why they're always trying to suppress things. They don't want you to have the truth ever. It's like they know all the damage alcohol does. They know it's not good, but yet they open liquor stores at 8 o'clock in the morning to sell you booze, and they close at 2 o'clock. And, you can get drugs. I mean, alcohol, and there's only 6 hours where it's not available for some people. And they know every bad thing about it, but they'll never tell you the truth. The right teachings of true wisdom have been totally destroyed on this planet. That is why so much new information is now pouring out of many channels from many dimensions and star systems, as well as from the earth and many kingdoms, in order to assist humanity to find their way back again to source and oneness. Those who destroyed the library of Alexander in the early times of Christianity played an important role in keeping humanity in ignorance. This library contained well over 400,000 books holding much of the real knowledge and wisdom accumulated over the eons of time and kept there in sacredness to enlighten humanity. After this beautiful library was burned to the ground, humanity began to experience another very dark age that lasted for many centuries. Those who orchestrated the destruction of such a precious collection of spiritual wisdom and knowledge for the planet were very proud and happy with themselves at first. In their thirst for power and control, they convinced themselves that they had performed an act of mercy for humanity. They sought to dim the light of the planet again by depriving humanity of the very teachings that would show them the way to life, love, grace, and the very salvation of their souls. The destruction of those precious records have been a very great loss and setback for the surface evolution of this planet, and certainly not an act of God. Those responsible for the obliteration of such treasures were instruments of sinister force. To this day, they are still reaping the karma of their actions. So some of these beings are paying really, really, really bad in other lower worlds, like terrible, terrible things. Ariel, please comment on the effects of drug use on the chakras. Do they get blown open when the drugs are used? And this is where people don't understand chakras, because there's lots of things that can blow chakras open and do lots of damage. And the dark side knows all of this, and they will trick you in all kinds of ways to make yourself go kundalini cuckoo, destroy you, will harm you, and keep you trapped in all kinds of stupid things. This is not exactly what happens. Actually, the chakra is closed down to the light, and they are being ripped apart. It is more like a gradual weakening and tearing or a misalignment of the chakra systems that prolonged drug use gradually create. The chakras can no longer carry as much light and begin to be imprinted with negativity. That is why I mentioned that as many as 5 to 10 lifetimes could be required to heal the imbalance. But we have like the knowledge will come in where you can heal it if that's what you truly want. That is why I mentioned that is it would take 5 or 10 lives required to heal the imbalance. So if you die as a drug addict, like a heroin addict or something, you have 5 to 10 lifetimes to fix that and correct it. I do not mean 10 lifetimes for everyone, but could take that long for many. When the chakra systems become imprinted with great negativity from the astral plane and the light becomes very dim, the healing forces are no longer present in the chakras for healing the imbalance. And that's where people abuse the energy and the healing and that, and then they can't seem to fix themselves. They just keep looping. They get off, they go back on, they get off, they go back on, and they loop because the energy, and that's where you got to start understanding to bring in this light and energy. The soul involved is often born with several physical and emotional imbalances in the next few incarnations. With right action, self love, and willingness to improve oneself with each succeeding incarnation, the light will start to rebuild again in the chakras and healing will eventually take place. The soul will eventually find itself back again where it started in the evolution in this very incarnation. It is like taking many steps backwards in evolution, then returning once again to your original starting place. This is rather unnecessary delay that can be avoided. When a soul is born with much light as the children of today, they choose to voluntarily dim their light and to forsake their purpose and destiny for the sake of indulging in any type of addiction. The same level of grace is not accorded to them in the next incarnation. For several lifetimes, these souls will have to experience life without the comforts of the beauty light they now carry until they learn their lessons. That is why it has been as said that souls engaging in drug use are embarking on a painful journey for many lifetimes to come. Uh, Ariel, Adam, this is a time of great grace for everyone on earth. What opportunities are there to people who turn away from this type of distortion now and desire to move into the light more rapidly? And Adam says, you know, the addictions and the drug use were created on the planet as a plot for the dark forces. That's why drugs are available everywhere now. In the Bible, it says in the end times, everybody will be on pharmakia. Doctors put fucking, a 6 month baby on drugs. And babies are being drugged right up and they're given all kinds of drugs. By the time they become adults, they're all messed up. And in the Bible, it says in the end times, most of the world will be on pharmakia, and it's a truth. Me, when I was around my sister and her kids were growing up, sometimes the medications they were giving them, I'm like, that's drugs. That's not good. You don't give stuff like that to children. And there's a lot of this stuff, but like I say, the proof is there, even in prophecy, in that it talks about these things, and it was done on purpose, and people just agreed and fell into it. Like when the '60s came, and it was love and freedom and peace, and oh, well, let's all get stoned and drugged, and we'll just have sex and do everything. Everything started crumbling really fast because man, drugs took off, and it's a big thing on the planet. I mean, everywhere you go now, you see these little places selling drugs. So the dark forces are using it as a plot. They are determined more than ever before to stop the expansion of the light and to prevent it, as many souls as possible from making it easy to the ascension door in this light. The precious children could make it so easily and painlessly. They were born with all the tools they need to attain their enlightenment and spiritual freedom with much ease and grace. And that's where, like I say, people have to be the teachers and protectors of the children. They can't allow and just go, okay, and just let it happen. So many of the children addicted to drugs now need unprecedented assistance from enlightened adults who have the greater wisdom to understand that the whole generation of enlightened beings is at stake here. And that's what they want. They want to stop all of that. The new energy that now floods the earth will not support the dark consciousness. The children will be granted an opportunity and a period of grace to align and heal completely so they can come into the new world together with the rest of humanity. But the children need to understand and be instructed by adults who know better and that they are responsible to make the ultimate choice for themselves and that no one can make it for them. Those who choose to leave will become aware when they cross to the other side of the veil that they have forsaken a wondrous opportunity. They are not only going to miss the grand celebration prepared for all the humanity and will miss much more. Knowledge, my sweet ones, knowledge and understanding are the greatest tools at this time. Offering these gifts to those who have not had the opportunity to receive this wisdom from those involved in the upbringing is indeed a great act of love and compassion. That's why I try to teach, I try to do this stuff. Ariel, do you have some of the original plants in Telos, and do you have use for them? Adam, in Telos, many of the original plants have been preserved, and yes, we have plants that can assist spiritual development. We don't smoke them, of course. We also don't need them. Our present level of spiritual consciousness has far exceeded any benefits that any of these plants would offer at any time. We have them as decorations, as some of them present outstanding beauty. We cultivate them only for the beauty and the grace, as we do so many other species. Do not forget these plants have also graduated to become fifth dimensional species. At some point in the future, we might consider assisting some of you with opening with the right use of one or two of the plants we have preserved. Be assured that it will not be for many. They will not be for sale in your market either, and certainly not for those who are now indulging in the use of these plants' altered counterparts. It is certainly a very sad state of affairs on the planet that a whole generation is being swallowed up by drug unconsciousness. Be aware that it is the ultimate plan of the dark forces to wipe out the generation spiritually and enslave them as much as they can. Will you allow this to happen, or will you wake up to the truth of who you are and why you are here? Ariola, there is also currently another use of for marijuana, and that is for medical prescriptive use. Does it matter how it is used? Will it always create this type of damage? Adam, for medical purposes and when used with wisdom, it is not the same thing. There are people in the hospital in severe pain who already have a lot of damage to their bodies. They take sedatives such as morphine and Demerol, which are other types of substance to stop and reduce pain. These substances are also habit forming and mind altering and lower people's vibration to those of the astral plane as well. Marijuana is not any more damaging, perhaps even less damaging than those mentioned above, and can be used effectively for pain for a while. So at some point you have to stop, but people just do it constantly all the time. Hey Lucy, good morning. Now, as they evolve, every incarnated soul has eventually to learn how to heal themselves. And that's what it is. Everything's about healing you. You got to heal yourself. Yeah, Alex G, vaping is really, really bad. And I did vaping for a while and then I quit smoking. And I used vaping for a little while. And I'm like, no, Cindy didn't like it. She's like, I don't like that. I want you to quit. So I quit it. But yeah, I did vaping for a while, and when you suck on it, it's like all those chemicals and that. I don't think it's good. What air gets in your mouth and that is gross. Now, as they evolve, every incarnated soul has eventually learned how to heal themselves. This is part of the mastery curriculum. So we want to learn, we want to learn every healing technique to heal everybody. But you got to also use it to heal yourself. And that's a really, really big thing. Medicine men do that. They know the plants, they know the things, they know different things to do to keep themselves healthy, keeping their environment healthy. It's like even smudging. As I know, using smudging, I know what it can do. And I have my diffuser here and I can just wave it over my energy and just things will break and clear. So I know what to do, and I use a lot of herbal teas and other kinds of things to help me all the time. And I burn incense and other things to cleanse the energy in my environment and that. So I do a lot of different things, and I use it when I feel it's necessary. Hey, Cosmic Dissonance 51. Hello, Florida. So I'm just going to go back to the beginning and I'm going to read to this other part because this is where people get really confused about using things. And you can use something to help you to a certain point and then you stop so you don't get addicted. And it says, now as we evolve, every incarnated soul has to eventually learn how to heal themselves. This is part of the mastery curriculum. You came here to gain. Many souls have made the choice to leave their embodiments in the next few years without having any clue about healing themselves. They will most likely go to another planet to continue their evolution and stay there until they have learned to heal all of their imbalances. There are several other planets now willing to host these souls, where they will be taught in different ways what they did not want to learn at this time. And you have to want to learn. It's so important to do that. Very cool, cognitive dissonance. Glad people are doing everything to cleanse and clean their bodies and all of that, because that's something you have to do, but you got to also understand energies and your chakras, your auras and everything, even your thoughts. And you have to do a lot of work. There are several other planets now willing to host those souls where they will be taught in a different way what they did not want to learn at this time. And when we were children, we got very stubborn. We didn't want to learn. And we put these plugs inside ourselves and we got really, really ignorant in school and all kinds of things. And your parents tried to teach you and help you, but you didn't want to learn. And those parts of you are still shut off. And you have to want to learn. And I'm glad my granddad taught me that, and he taught me always to learn, 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 learn. And doing all of that is like something I've spent my life doing, searching, reading, asking questions, trying to figure out anything I can. And like this knowledge here, whatever I'm trying to teach, allow the energy, allow the spirits, allow this stuff in so you can learn and grow. This is perfect for them as they have eternity to evolve as they wish. Their free choice is always honored. That's why I'm like, it's your choice. It's your belief. Nobody else's. So if you're choosing not to learn, not to grow, not to change, then know there's lots of worlds you can go to that, like I say, you can spend another 100 million years, whatever you want, and you can keep evolving in these lower planes, or you can choose to change that. Yeah, you got to learn to concentrate and focus, make up your mind what you want to achieve. That's why I'm like, we just started January 2025. What do you want to achieve by the end of the year? What is it you really want to do? Because you got to concentrate from now till the end of the year to change all of that. Marijuana used for a short time as medical prescription for pain. Let's say after surgery for 2 weeks, it is not going to do the damage I have explained above. We're talking about many years of unnecessary drug use chosen as a way of life, as a way of escaping the lessons, responsibilities, challenges chosen for the incarnation. You got to face all your problems. You can't just drink it away or smoke it away. You have to face it and clean it up and do something. There are those in incarnation who have been on drugs for many years and who have stopped and now they are healing themselves. Much grace is granted to them, and they will make it. And this is where, like, make up your mind. Decide. Don't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna have another glass of wine, and when I go one more joint with my buddies or whatever." It's like, make a choice. It's the start of the year. See what you can accomplish by 2026. Ariella, can you comment on how they can heal themselves? Adama, there are those who have given up their addictions, some cold turkey, who did it with a firm will and determination to heal themselves. And that's what I did. Everything was cold turkey. And I just quit and I made up my mind and stayed on this path for 34 years, reading and studying, trying to figure it all out so I can help others. Yeah, go ahead and smoke. That's yours. Cognitive dishonest. Smoke all you want. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just reading here trying to give people answers. I'm not here to argue with nobody. I don't care what anybody does with their life. I have mine. I live mine the way I want to. And cognitive dissonance, you just want me to connect with you and you just want to keep sending negative energies. I'm not interested in playing these games. There's lots of places you can go and do that. There are those who have given up their addictions, some cold turkey, who did it with a firm will and determination to heal themselves. They are receiving much grace and assistance from above. It is important for them to invoke daily and healing light for their souls to reconnect with the eternal self as the great I am. Going back to a healthy and natural diet will keep them in greater balance and ease the process of to a great extent. Active meditation and the use of the 7 chakra healing flames will bring them mercy and grace in their lives. That's why I'm like, you can call in these energies. They already know how to help you. They already know what to do. At this time, grace on the planet is distributed in a very extraordinary way to everyone sincerely and wholeheartedly committed to healing themselves at all levels of their being. Once a person who has been a drug user for many years makes a firm commitment to life and remain clean, the angels of divine grace are at their sides assisting. And there's many, many beings in the spirit world trying to help. On earth at this time, you are literally running out of time. The questions you need to ask yourself is, do I really want to extend my third dimensional challenges and lessons for another 10 or a lifetime somewhere else, living in pain and separation from my true self? Or do I want to ascend now with the planet and the rest of humanity to experience the glory of spiritual freedom with all the joy and magic that will change my life experience forever? Do you want to do it now, in the next few years, or wait for the next round of ascension, perhaps 10,000 years on another planet, with the possibility of doing it in much dimmer circumstances, more and more negative than what you even know here? This planet is not bad. People make it sound so terrible. And there are worse places, and a lot of people are going there. Lots of goodly Christians and that are going to these places of terrible nightmares that you think is so bad on this planet, you're going to think is child's play. Ariel, what about those who are not smoking? Adama, those who are not inhaling this energy through their lungs but choose to hang out in the vibration with those engaging in the drug rituals because of association will also lower their own levels of vibration, at least temporarily. You have been facing your shadow side. You have to invest so much effort in your own healing, and you know how difficult and strenuous it has been. You've worked very hard to heal your issues and imbalance, and now then and you know the difficulties you have to encounter, and your baggage was small compared to most. You are also increasing your vibration in a wondrous way. You are opening your heart, and your strands of DNA are evolving because your intentions are pure and focused. Does this tell you about what kind of self-healing work will be required for those who choose to remain in complete denial of what is required for them to fulfill the purpose and the density of their present incarnation? Ariella, Can you comment on the importance of being in divine alignment with the current ascension energies that we are entering now and the effects of the use of marijuana on the alignment with the I am? So how it distorts that. Adama, those believing that they will open up faster or make greater spiritual progress with the assistance of drug use linger in total illusion. There are those who have had partial third eye openings with the use of drugs, but it does not represent the true clairvoyance acquired by the discipline of the soul on the path of ascension and enlightenment. There are no shortcuts, dear sisters and brothers. Everyone, and there is no exception, has to engage, no exceptions, has to engage in their spiritual homework in the vibration of love and life and clear all their emotional issues of karmic baggage. That's why I'm like, we got to get out of this emotional stuff because that's a trick and a trap. We got to become stoic. We got to become logic. We got to become intelligence. We got to use this thing correctly and our bodies and energy correctly. All those who have opened themselves to certain levels of psychic perception because of drug usage will have to be willing to accept a closing down of their faculties. So you got to go back and then start over. Because the openings were not in alignment with true clairvoyance, but rather a discovery into lower vibrations. All legitimate openings must come about from the grace of your divine self when you are ready or when it is part of your preordained pathway. Let me share that almost 50% of the people who have developed clairvoyant abilities do not own these gifts by divine appointment. And that's where people get into yoga and they force these things. And they're constantly forcing it. And then it shuts off and they can't open it. So they go to yoga and they force and force and force and force. And they finally pop it open. And then they're able to do things and then they drop again. And people are doing this with all kinds of different ways of chemicals and so many things. And you're just creating imbalance. And you got to shut off. And it's going to all turn off. Then you got to go back and start over and learn how to do it right. All legitimate openings must come about from the grace of the divine self. And that's where your 8th, 9th, and 10th chakra. You're trying to force that? Man, you got a long journey. You got thousands of lives to figure out how to start over and redo this again if you don't, like I say, figure it out and do it the right way. Let me share that almost 50% of those who have developed clairvoyant abilities do not own these gifts by divine appointment. And for many, their skills create a great separation and illusion. I ask all of you reading this material to be careful and to use your discernment. Do not be deceived by the trap when external means to reach spiritual enlightenment are uniquely relied upon. Be assured that what comes is not true spiritual brilliancy, but a shadow of a real truth that remains hidden within the confines of the Sacred Heart. Ariella, is there anything else you want to share? Adama, if it were not for the intervention and the glories and the beautiful new light so generously flooding your planet now by the Creator, the Earth and humanity would soon be facing a different scenario. Your present generation could be totally wiped out spiritually, and the Earth would again experience much destruction and major setbacks in her ultimate destiny. This is why there is so much new writings through channeling being disseminated everywhere it can be received. It is all over the internet where many willing and dedicated lightworkers share much free information from the heart to assist others. And this is where I try to do that. I try to share and teach and help. I try to do all kinds of different things for years and years and years. Another question. There are still those who believe that everyone will ascend, no questions asked, and with all their human baggage unresolved. And this is where I'm like, Christians really believe Jesus is going to come and blink, and all of a sudden they're going to be in heaven. Sorry. Some of them are really, really bad. They like drugs. They like all kinds of crazy things, and they don't want to heal and change that. So this is going to say, allow me to say that this will certainly not be the case. It is true that everyone will eventually ascend, but it may not be in this lifetime or from this planet. The important message right now for the youth of the world and those not so young in age as well, I repeat once more, get off the pot or you may have to get off the planet. The time for indulgence is now over. That's where people's like, oh yeah, I'll just have a beer and whatever. Go ahead. I don't care. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. And like I say, I've been straight for 34 years. I get invited to all kinds of places and yeah, booze and drugs and whatever. I don't bother. I have tea, I have coffee, I have a pop, and then I leave when I'm ready. But I don't hang around. I'll laugh and joke and talk and do stuff. I mean, I've been invited to people's homes for Christmas and they got all kinds of wine and everything out and oh, have a glass of wine with your meal. No, I don't. This is my body. You do that to your body, that's yours. Yeah, coffee is okay. But at some point, maybe, you know, because like I say, it is a plant, but it is an addiction too. So, like I say, you decide for yourself. Me and Cindy just quit coffee a while ago. And we have a cup every now and then, but we basically, like, we have a coffee pot and that thing is hardly used now. We drink tea all the time. So, like I say, everybody chooses when they're ready. I can't tell anybody what to do or not to do. Accountability cannot be escaped from those forsaking their destiny, tearing their chakras, and diminishing their health and their beautiful light through drug use as well as other addictive substance like alcohol, cigarettes, etc. There is still time right now to heal yourself if you choose. Divine Grace is now offering a most awesome window of opportunity at this time, and that's where if you really want to heal, man, there are things that are going to come in and help you. And that's why you got to pray for everybody. Somebody's on drugs and that, pray for them, but don't tell them what they have to do. Believe they will decide to change, heal, and fix their life. The essence of what we seek in divine love and freedom from pain and suffering. The path to wholeness becomes much easier when you have self love as your companion. If you really, really love yourself, you're never going to put up with shit. Not from anyone, not one man, woman, child, anything on this planet. You will not do that. And you just keep loving yourself and you'll just keep changing and healing and doing every last magical thing you're meant to. Very cool, Rachel. Keep on doing what you're doing. Don't get angry at yourself. Don't think you failed or anything. You don't know. Just believe in the good. Believe in the future. You're going to be there and all this magical stuff will go on. That's where it's so important for people to believe. And it's your belief. And like I say, whatever you believe, the universe will help. And our prayers are really important for people. That's why every now and then I'll pray for my relatives on Skid Row. I'll pray for my relatives back home who are alcoholics and dysfunctional and that. And I'll sometimes try to phone and talk to them. Like I visited my cousin in Vancouver when he was in drug rehab. And, I didn't look down on him. I went and picked him up and I took him out and everything. And talked and laughed and everything, and then let him go back on his way. Didn't tell him anything. It was nice to see him. So this is where, like I say, choice and belief is everybody's. I made my choice when I was 5 years old, when I was 30 years old, and still today I follow those choices and I try to live a certain way. And there's times where, like I say, I try things to see what it is, to understand it. Chapter 6. The will of God, the first ray activity. So now it's going to talk about the first ray and the colors, right? Adama speaks of us of the blue ray flame and the ray of the will of God. It explains spiritual benefits of surrender to the divine will and offers a wonderful meditation which gives us a greater understanding of the word surrender. So those colors, like I say, they're already intelligent. And they bring in angels and things to help you. So when you're inviting them every day into your home, when you go to sleep at night, when you go out to places, you're inviting these things, it's going to start doing all kinds of stuff for you. Aurelia Louise. I feel inside myself great excitement because I know that something big is in the making of the planet. I also know the energy is shifting quite rapidly now, and the veils of separation between dimensions are gradually thinning out. The ascension masters are in closer and increasingly personal contact with us, more so than any time before, thousands of years. If I compare how things used to be when I was a child or in my 20s to how they are now, there is quite a silver lining forming in the horizon. Even if the dark clouds are not yet completely dispelled, everyone is beginning to feel the change. That is what I would like to share. As we allow this unfoldment to take place, embracing all the steps, there is much magic in it. It took me a while to see and feel, but now I really feel it and know it. Those of us who are working directly with beings from the other side of the veil, as teachers, are here to show the way to those seeking to create a better world than the one we have grown accustomed to. But ultimately, your life is your own journey, and no matter how much assistance is offered, no one can assume your journey for you. And that's why everybody's life is different. I can't tell people things, like nobody can. And that's where your angels know, and they can give messages and help in all kinds of ways. In the New Age spirituality, there's lots of sayings and things that are not the truth. And it just said that back there. If you're not doing the work and wanting to change, like some people believe that, oh yeah, if I believe I'm an angel, that's what I'm going to be. Yeah, maybe 100 million years from now. But if you're not actually doing the work and you're not changing and you're not helping and you're not doing anything to help this interdimensional machine here, your holographic brain, and you're not tapping into all these higher conscious truths and everything else, then keep on. There's lots and lots of lower places, way more terrible than you will ever dream and imagine. That's why in Buddhism they say there is 10,000 hells. That's the belief of Buddhism. If you're a Buddhist, you better figure out there is a hell there. If you're not changing and you're just manipulating and doing things, there's a place for you to go. And you could be there for thousands and thousands of years. And this is where you can't fool the universe. They know what's right and what's wrong. You can't hide nothing. Even these children, you lie to them. They know you're lying. All these children being born, and people think they can lie to them and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, people have to stop all of it. The next 10 years will be most important and crucial years to have ever lived on this planet. They will determine what will become and where we will go or be in the cosmic future. So everybody's trying to make a choice for that. The planet and humanity have now reached the end of the major cosmic cycle. And this is where I say it's an epoch. It's a literal end. And the Earth Mother will never stay in 3D. Don't believe that. People are saying that in this New Age spirituality. Don't waste your time believing in all of that. And this epoch is an end. And it's, like I say, Earth, everything is going to change. Keys of Enoch I read, and it told you about all these things that are going to go on. This book is trying to teach that. And also, it's trying to give you an idea what the fifth dimension is and how to focus on the future, create, and manifest. The planet and humanity now reach the end of the major cosmic cycle. The Earth, along with those of humanity choosing it, is now moving into a new cycle of enlightened evolution. And you, as a soul evolving on her body, are now faced with the most important choices you will ever make. It is now that you have to choose if you want to come along with the Earth into a brand new reality of love and light, or stay behind for another long round of incarnations in the third dimension. It is up to you to decide if you want to experience the new world here or move on to other third dimensional planets in another universe and continue to experience life the way it is here right now, with all the limitations and challenges the third dimension life offers. Your choice. Make it happen. The earth really deserves her glorious ascension, and I'm glad she's now decided she will never ever put up with any ignorance. There's not going to be one tribe on this planet that is going to ever hold ignorance on this planet. Don't matter what they've prayed, what their gods are, or anything. It's finished. And there's so much crap on this planet I can't wait to see get wiped out and all this trash gone. The earth really deserves her glorious ascension. The bells of her own graduation to a new cosmic cycle are now ringing. After all, she has shown infinite love and tolerance towards humanity, who have not shown in return much gratitude towards her. She has offered us her body as unconditionally to allow us the opportunity to experiment with free will. The question to ask ourselves now: do I choose to come along to the next level, or do I want to say, stay behind? What realities are you really choosing to create and embrace for yourself in the few short remaining years? I constantly hear people mention that they are so caught up in their day to day lives that as much as they want to do their spiritual and healing work for the benefit of evolution, it is always put off for another time. They say, well, I'll do it tomorrow or next month, or perhaps next year, when things change a little, or when my life slows down a little bit. Then I will have more time to do my healing and my spiritual work. Do you realize the time that waits for you? No one. Time waits for no one. And we are now at an important threshold of change. What the ascended masters, Adama, Sananda, Maitreya, Archangel Michael, Saint Germain, and all other masters are telling us is that at this time, now there is nothing, and I mean nothing more important than your personal, spiritual, and healing work. Everything else is a distraction to keep you away from the real goal of your incarnation here. And there's many things trying to distract and do things. Yes, we do have to attend to many of the obligations of our daily lives, but ultimately, what will really count and make the difference for you in the next few years is not so much what you have done, but what you have become. Contemplate this. What we do become and goes in the passage of time, but what we do comes and goes in the passage of time. But what we become as divine beings embracing our divinity from the perspective of a human experience remains with us for eternity. Adama is here. He is patiently waiting for me to finish talking. Perhaps he is wondering who has been invited to speak here today, him or me. Adama, greetings, my beloved friends. I am speaking to you this day from my elegant home in Telos, but I am also with all of you at the same time. We have with us today is a silent partner in person and an awesome presence in our dear friend El Moira. We both want to convey our deep love to all those connecting with our hearts through their sharing. So this is where this energy while I'm reading can come through if you want it from these beings. Today I would like to talk about the will of God as a path of surrender. You see, without the will of God, you are not going very far on this evolutionary path. That is the very first step, the first initiation that must be mastered before you can really progress into all the other steps. If you are not willing to surrender to the great will of your being, the will of your own divine source, how will you recognize your new home? If you are not willing to surrender to that which is seeking to bring you all the way back home, the home to your divine perfection, joy, bliss, limitless, and lost paradise, then how do we expect to even get there? The will of God is not a God outside you, and that's where your divine light, that spark namaste, it has all the answers. It knows everything, but nobody wants to listen. Everybody wants to be in power and control and trying to push and force all kinds of things and make other people believe stuff and things. And you surrender into that light. It spontaneously heals, changes everything. It doesn't care about what anybody believes on this planet. It knows everything. It's very, very ancient. It is your ego that keeps creating a lifetime after lifetime, and it will put you in every karma. That's where you can't lie. because it is going to send you into these other worlds and places. You can't lie to it and make it believe anything. It knows the truth. And like I say, you can't use words and make yourself believe. That's what this new age healing practices and everything is about. It's don't listen to karma, don't listen to this, don't believe in universal laws, don't believe in the higher dimensions, don't believe in anything. Just do whatever you think. Well, go to these lower worlds. Spend another million years evolving. You know, I've been trying to teach this for over 30 years and people still don't want to hear. The will of God is not outside you, the simple God that you are and that you have always been, although when you are in the physical incarnation, you tend to temporarily forget. Your divine presence is totally omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent, and can fulfill all your desires. And that's where you got to allow it in, because it knows everything. So when you go to healers, they tap into that, and this higher self that you're not understanding tries to work through other people to help you. And like I say, having the right knowledge really, really helps. Have a good day, Rachel. And can fulfill your desires. So connecting with these higher truths, you have temporarily forgot that you are nothing less than the impressions of the great I Am incarnated in a human experience. You came here with an agenda to attain soul perfection and expand your own divinity to the fullest of your God mastery and wisdom. You are here seeking advanced enlightenment and total spiritual freedom. You are here to become an unlimited God in all planes of existence. And we have to believe we are God. That's one of the first things. But you got to call in this purple flame, this blue flame. You got to call in the masters, the teachers, all kinds of things. This is an agenda of love for self, and the self is no one but you. You are still too caught up in your mundane affairs and not seeking to attain the goal you have incarnated for. For too many of you, the affairs of your soul path and soul evolution have become the last concern of your agenda. Well, dear friends, when you are consciously putting aside the true goals of your incarnation for the sake of monetary human pursuits, and that's what everybody's into. They learn things for monetary pursuits, not to heal and grow, to fill their bank accounts, to have fancy homes, fancy cars, to buy, diaper pants and malas and head buns and all kinds of silliness. And that's what people are into. They're into the monetary. They're not into the soul evolution and growth. Your life turns out to reflect something very different than what you had envisioned for your life experience prior to the incarnation here. Once back on the other side of the veil, as you view your life you just left, there are always deep regrets. There is a profound desire to receive another opportunity for incarnation, to fulfill all the soul desires that you have denied in your present life. And like I say, everybody wants to be a master of something, and it's monetary. And they want to learn all kinds of practices everywhere, not to grow spiritually, not to heal themselves, not to help others in the right way. And this is how the merry-go-round of endless cycles of incarnation for the soul keeps repeating itself again and again, one incarnation after another. Your divine presence, with great patience and compassion, has granted you thousands upon thousands of opportunities. For so many of you, each time you come here, you ignore the reasons for your coming. And it's soul evolution. And people want to play with sorcery and black magic, and they want to learn stuff from Muslims and Arabs and Hindus and all over the world and practice all kinds of low vibrating, really dark stuff. And they're always doing dumb things to people. But that's where they got lots of worlds to go to pay for all the wrongs they've done. Like I say, everything always goes back. And the person who's been working on my energy for quite a while, it's going to go back to you. Like, it always goes back. I got so many guardian spirits around me, and watching people on this TikTok live and every other thing. And like I say, the energy will go back where it came from. I never worry about it. I don't try to shield. I don't pretend to be a magic wizard. I don't try to fool nobody. I sit here and I read and I try to share what I understand and know. And this is how the merry-go-round goes around. That's karma, the wheel of cycle. And I'll read it back here. It's all just about the wheel of karma and incarnation. Well, dear friends, when you are consciously putting aside the true goals of your incarnation for the sake of monetary human pursuits, your life turns out to reflect something very different than what you have envisioned for your life experience prior to your incarnation here. Once back on the other side of the veil, as you view your life you just left, there are always deep regrets. There's a profound desire to receive another opportunity for incarnation, to fulfill all the soul desires that you have denied in your present life. And that's where people don't want to learn and grow. And that is how the merry-go-round of endless cycles of incarnation for the soul keeps repeating itself again and again, one incarnation after the other. Your divine presence, with great patience and compassion, has granted you thousands upon thousands of those opportunities. For so many of you, each time you come here, you ignore the reasons for your coming. And that's why I'm like, you have to heal yourself. You have to become God. You have to become an evolved being. And like I say, I'm native and I'm going to stay native. I'm not going to ever become a Muslim or a Jew or Arab or a Hindu or any other kind of practice out there. I'll read their stuff. Like I say with Muslims, you want to understand things about the Muslim belief? Buy Salman Rushdie's book, The Satanic Virtues. He wrote it. Why did they want to chop his head off and kill him? Because he must have told the truth about something. Lifetime after lifetime. And that's like Buddhism. There's lots of things about Buddhism people have to figure out. Like when Buddha sat under that tree, why did he have a 9-headed snake god protecting him? And the Buddhists, a lot of the Middle Eastern, Asian countries and that, they pray to this 9-headed god. That's not the creator. That's not the light. At some other ancient god, and they protect, because in Buddhism there's lots of sorcery, there's lots of black magic, there's lots of different kinds of things, and they have lots of different kinds of groups, and they all pray. Like some of them pray to the Dalai Lama, some of them pray to these other people, and they worship these people as divine and light beings or human beings. Dalai Lama is just a person. Like I say, you got to figure lots of things out. It takes a long time to figure it out. I spent a lifetime of reading and studying, and I'm going to go on being a native. I'm going to go on being a pagan. I'm going to go on respecting the light and the earth and the creator, the force that created all things, and I will go on sharing my knowledge. I came here to help change this planet, and I've had a very hard life since I was a child, and I'm still at it. And nobody's turning me into a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or any other kind of thing on this planet. I came here with free will, and my free will says I am going to follow the Creator, the light, everything that is the future, and I'm going to evolve and grow. And I don't need nobody's blessings or help or spells or bindings or any other thing. I don't accept that reality. Lifetime after lifetime, you did not meet your set goals for your incarnation. This is also why you are still here facing so many challenges instead of enjoying the bliss of the light realms. You will keep coming back again and again until you finally surrender to the longings of your own soul. Your divine presence has watched you suffer, search, and work endlessly for many lifetimes. It has observed your pain, your despair, your hopelessness, your fear, your tears, your doubts, your shame and terrors. It has witnessed the great wisdom that has been gained in all of these incarnations, individually and for the whole of creation. And it is longing now to bring home to freedom, to love, to mastery, to oneness, and to all that you are as a divine being. And that's why Jesus said, you were God. Muslims say no, there's no more prophets, there's no more things, there's only Allah or Muhammad or whatever they want to believe. But Joshua ben Joseph is coming back, and he's going to fulfill his prophecies. And he will come back and end everything and change it. And Muhammad was not on the earth at the time that Joshua ben Joseph was. He came in 300 years after. And it is proven and known. But they say, no, Muhammad and Jesus talked. No, they didn't. He was off this planet. It yearns to bring back home, but it cannot force you. And your soul won't force you. That's where there's lower realms, like the Buddhists say. And there's 10,000 more hells, way lower and worse than this one. And the Buddhists, they are terrified of it. They're terrified of karma. They're terrified of devolving. But they just stay stuck in it. I believe in the Creator and evolution, and I am going to become God. I am Shiva and Kali, and I am here to destroy the darkness and bring the love and the beauty of the future in, and I will go on being who I am. It yearns to bring you back home, and it cannot force you. It requires your willingness, your intentions, and your cooperation. It requires that you embrace all the parts of yourself that you have abandoned and hated along the way of your many incarnations. That's why you can't hate anything you ever did in life. Because if you do, you're not going to be able to transition into all these higher things. It requires that you embrace all the parts of yourself that you have abandoned and hated along the way in many incarnations. Your God self is calling you now to surrender to the path that is laid before you day by day with love and trust. Through that loving surrender, step by step, you will be shown the way to the sun of your being, your divine perfection. And it's all our birthright. But people can't seem to get this. They want to waste their time going to singing bowls. Oh, I'm going to go there. I'm just going to bliss out. Oh, I'm just going to go to yoga. I'm just going to bliss out. Oh, I'm going to go to my Reiki master and just bliss out. I want to go to my divine self and be the healer and the truth sayer and the seer and the prophet and everything I came here to be. And I want the world to see and know I am going to be Jesus and all these other things. I don't care what anybody says. And you got to want that inside yourself. People are going to try to step on you and destroy you. Because if you're really here to channel the future and share and change and do things for this planet, everything is going to destroy you. Even your own mom, dad, brothers, aunts, even your own children, they will try to wipe you out, chop your head off, kill you. And they're going to say you're insane and crazy and evil. They're going to do anything to destroy you. I believe in myself. I believe I'm connected to the source of creation. I've done that since I was a little boy. My granddad died, I had nobody, and I've spent my lifetime looking for the answers. And like I say, there are people coming on here and they're realizing that too. Natives knew people were on the earth like Jesus. That's why when the white man came, they accepted the Bible and they said Jesus was their brother and everything. They understood it all. And there were a lot of natives that walked on this continent that were like Jesus. And they were Wakan. In Sioux, Wakan is very, very holy. You don't touch them. You don't do anything. Like when White Buffalo Calf woman brought the pipe, she was Wakan. You wouldn't do anything. You wouldn't think bad thoughts or do anything. You would do everything right by her. And this is the truth. And there are people who are like Jesus that are going to walk on this planet. Everybody's going to say they're the devil, they're evil, they're aliens, they're going to try to kill them and everything. And now, do you step into your truth and stop caring, trying to make everybody, wipe your ass? It's like, who cares? If I smell like fart, I smell like fart. My hair's not fixed and I don't have shiny teeth. Who cares? I could get a kick out of people, all day walking around trying to show their shiny teeth. I'm like, isn't that stupid? I mean, everybody is about their teeth. Like, who gives a shit? Now they're dyeing their eyebrows, shaving them, and tattooing all these eyebrows on. Now they're just their eyebrows. Ooh, look at the eyebrows. There's eyebrows floating down the street now. Oh, look at these big 10-foot long eyelashes flapping in the wind, throwing this person's head around. But oh, I'm so beautiful because of my eyelashes. Somewhere we got to wake up and change and heal. I try to be real here, and if people don't like that, I'm sorry, go somewhere else. It's like when Danny Jackson says Mean Joe, I get such a kick out of it because at first I didn't understand if he didn't like me or not. And then he explained to me why he called me that. But I try to speak truthfully. And there have been a lot of people that have been on my TikTok for since the day I began, and they have learned and grown because I speak the truth. And I don't try to, you know, make them believe, oh, we're just going to grow a rose-colored garden and just sitting there and everything is going to be beautiful. No, I've studied prophecy. I've studied so many things in my life. And we're going to go through this purification time, and it's going to be fast, but it's not going to be all that nice. And you got to go inside here in that light and know you're going to come out the other side, and you are going to change this world. We have to protect the children. We have to change things. We got to make a choice and do something. And I'm doing the best I can wherever I go, whatever I do. I always have somebody coming along trying to stop me. Doesn't prevent me from doing anything. Yeah, the world's bad, but I find good people out there everywhere. And there's a lot of times really, really bad people show up. I'm like, I don't care. I don't focus on them. I focus on the good people. I focus on the good things. And like I say, there's all kinds of cultures. And they want everybody to fit into their belief system. That's theirs. They can go on believing it. I came here to be me. God made me to be me, not to be anything else. And I spent my life trying to find answers, and I found a lot of deceit and stuff out there in just about everything. And I had to figure it out because, like I say, it creates fear and all kinds of stuff. But here it's also telling you you can't hate anything about yourself. You have to surrender into your oversoul, your ego, your higher self. And you have to want to become God. You have to want to be in these higher dimensions. You can't just keep living in these lower planes. So, this is why surrender and will of your own divinity is such a divine grace to bestow upon yourself. So, this is something when you want this, God starts trying to bring it in, and this is where you start learning and growing. It is you who will be the greatest beneficiary of this grace. Someday you will wonder why you had waited so long to finally come home. Someday you will realize that you really never had to suffer. It is your choice. It is your resistance to the love that created all the pain and lessons that you have experienced for so long. It is now time to embrace the way of life that will nurture and embrace all of you instead of the ones that diminish you. And there are people that suck the soul and light out of you. You can feel them. Like really pay attention to the TikTok, and when somebody comes on negative, feel how fast it sucks and drains the energy. You'll know who is negative when it pops on. You'll feel it even before it comes on. When you surrender, it is the human ego, also known as the altered ego, that you gradually transform back into the original consciousness of your own divine nature. That's why when people say, oh, you got to get rid of your ego, I'm like, you never can. When they teach this in this new age stuff and that, I'm like, you can't do that. But then they try to make you fight with yourself. And your ego is like a little child, but it's a genius. It's billions of years old. It's really, really intelligent. And you have to surrender to it. And it's going to teach you things, and it's going to take you things, and then it's going to help you to heal and understand. So gradually transform back into your original consciousness of your divine nature as you surrender to the process of cleansing and healing yourself with absolute trust. Without judgment and without fear, you can get through this rather quickly if you stop beating yourself up because you were just a horny teenager, because you did drugs, because you did stupid things. Oh, everybody in the church said I was so evil and whatever. Stop all of that shit. The process reveals itself to be much less painful than it would be if you fight it all the way. The first step, always the hardest, the most overwhelming part of your path Trust that once you have taken that step, the rest is much easier. When you resist what is best for your pathway, your soul will simply allow you to have your own way for a while until you cannot stand it anymore. Time is not the essence for the soul, but we, the masters of light, know that all of you have suffered on this planet long enough. We invite you now to choose a more joyful destiny. In Telos, it is a great interest that we have been watching with reactions of the thousands of people who have read our information through our first book. So many of you, if not all of you, have experienced great heart openings. Your ancient memories have been awakened. You have watched the tears of hope and longing, and nearly all of you have experienced when reading the material about your lives in Telos and Lemuria. You have become aware of the different types of life is not only possible on this planet, but in the making for those embracing transformation through self-love and spiritual wisdom. With our assistance, this is what we are inviting you to do today. We have already trodden the paths for ourselves, thus opening the ways for you to follow our footsteps, holding our way out for you. Because we are here for you now, the way will be much easier for you than it was for us. For all of those desiring to join with us and share this type of life we enjoy, the path of love and surrender is the key to your homecoming. Then it says, we have reached a level of divine grace we are experiencing today in our lives only because a long time ago we have also surrendered to the divine will. By doing so, our lives were gradually transformed, and so will be yours. What we had to do, we did under circumstances that were much more difficult and painful than the situations you are presently experiencing. Let me say something about our passage of the 12,000 years. You might be surprised to know that after the destruction of our continent, all of us also had to work out all of our issues in the same manner as is required for you to do at this time. Consider that overnight we lost everything we ever owned, everything we ever identified with Lemuria, and most painful of all, we were separated abruptly from nearly everyone we had ever loved. All the beauty of Lemuria, all our work of the ages, all the aspects of our daily lives had suddenly vanished. All that was left was ourselves, the divine aspects, the self that we had to surrender to in order to receive again everything from the Creator, and they blew themselves up. And so they dropped the whole planet down in a real low energy, and they had to work to bring themselves up over 12,000 years. They've been focusing on doing this to get into the fifth dimension. Telos was in a primary stage of development and certainly not the glorious and beautiful city it has now become. It was a large cave inside the mountain that we endeavored to restore as a city in order to save small percentages of our people. What was left of our culture, because he already prophesied the fall and everything, and people who knew, they built this city and they moved there slowly over time, and then everything happened. The city of Telos was still in a rather primitive state compared to the beauty and ease that exists on the surface and to what it is at the present time. Understand that overnight we had to surrender our lives to a much different standard of living that was quite difficult for a long time, and to forge a new life for ourselves. With great courage and determination, we continue to build our city not only for ourselves, but also the point of contact for future generations who will be born again here within the Lemurian culture. Having lost everything except ourselves, we worked very hard for centuries, healing the wounds of our losses and forging something new and more permanent. It would require several volumes to narrate all of the difficult challenges we had to face. Our homecomings a very long time ago, my dear friends, was not as simple as you might imagine. You are all on easy street at this time compared to the obstacles we had to overcome. We ask you not to be dismayed by what you are going through in your lives, but rather to surrender to the process. Surrender with willing acceptance to the events that will take place on your planet. And this is where people fear prophecies and revelations and all these things that are going on, and people fear it instead of going, I'm just going to walk through it. I'm just going to connect with the light, and I'm just going to move, and I'm going to find myself in the future. But people want to fight everything. Willing acceptance to the events that will take place on your planet. They will come for the purpose for your deliverance from the chains you have created for yourself. And where I read in the Keys of Enoch, where the tribe of Gog and Magog are going to blow themselves up, and they're going to wipe themselves off this earth. And this is where I always say the dark forces are like a cancer, and they're going to consume and kill themselves just like a cancer does to a person. And this is where understanding this, and if you have this knowledge, you stop fearing, you start looking for the light, you start understanding what you're going to create and be a part of in the future. You put your focus there, because they want you to be afraid and believe that it's the end of creation or whatever, if you understand the Bible or prophecy or anything, and they just want you to be afraid, and you don't waste your time doing that. They will come for the purpose of your deliverance from the chains you have created for yourself. Simply open your heart to love and trust the messages to the light, as it was with ours, will not manifest without your conscious and sustained efforts. Be assured that the rewards will be magnified for those who will endure to the end. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to endure until I find myself in the future. And that is more important to me than all the criticism, bullshit, stupid beliefs, or anything else. I'm going to go on being a pagan, just like Joshua ben Joseph was a pagan. And he revolutionized this world for 2,300 years. And like I say, I'm radical. I'm here to do things, and nobody likes it. I won't stop. And I'm going to go on being a pagan, and I'm going to go on believing in the Creator, and all that is good. And it's my choice. The will of God is known as the first ray activity, and it resonates with the blue vibration. That's why I say invite in that blue energy. When you see it around people, you know they're spiritual, you know they're connected to the universe. Open your third eye and look for these colors and see if it's around people. Because if they're in it all the time, then that means they're working with the universe and they're changing things all over this planet. It is like a beautiful peacock of royal blue in color. This frequency is vibrant, alive, and cleansing. It is also connected with what we call the diamond heart, like a diamond, like a diamond, the surrender to this divine will has many facets. Archangel Michael is the blue ray angel, and Master Almoira is blue ray master, the guardians of the diamond heart of the will of God. So when you focus on these blue rays, these kinds of beings come in to help heal, change you, and do all kinds of stuff. And that is really, really amazing. Well, that's really cool. Jesus Christ of Nazarene, it says, I'm not sure what a pagan is, but when I look at you, I see a God man with good intentions, or a good man with good intentions. Cool. Thanks for that. The blue ray is a ray of divine power and leadership, the ray of power through the spoken and silent words. And this is where I'm reading in between the lines. There's things coming in and downloading to all of you. And if you really want to be a part of this, you're going to receive all kinds of amazing things. And it's going to radiate to other people wherever you go, and they're going to receive that. The blue ray is a ray of divine power and leadership, the blue ray through the spoken and silent word. This is why it is connected with the throat chakra, and that's why the throat chakra is blue, and same with the third eye. And there's different energies in each one, and they both have something different when you understand them. It is also the ray that has been most misused by humanity. Each time you are not speaking words of love and compassion, you are misusing the energies of that ray. Each time you attempt to control and manipulate in order to have your own way, you are misusing the energies of the blue ray. And be aware the misuse of this energy is often performed in very subtle ways, so subtle in fact that you are not even aware of it unless you begin to monitor from your heart all your words, actions, and motives. And that's where the heart has its own brain. It only knows the truth from God. But our brains can twist and distort and lie and deceive. But if you go down in here and you speak truth, like I say, you ask God to speak through you. You ask God to see through you. You ask God to hear through you all the time. And it's important because these distorted vibrations get cleaned up. Hey, Tipson, I'm on page 65 for whoever's got the Telos books. The blue ray is a ray of divine power and leadership, the ray of power through the spoken and silent word. This is why it is connected with the throat chakra. It is also the ray that has been most misused by humanity. Each time you are not speaking words of love and compassion, you are misusing the energy of the ray. Each time you attempt to control or manipulate in order to have your own way, you are misusing the energy of the blue ray. And be aware of the misuse of this energy is often performed in subtle ways, so subtle in fact that you are not even aware of it unless you begin to monitor from your heart all your words, actions, and motives. You understand and know what I mean. It is this ray that will allow for the alignment to the conscious you needed to attain in order to be brought to the other master. Master El Moira is known as a spiritual disciplinary, and his discipline reflects the greatest love that his soul holds for all, and it's E-L, capital E-L, and then capital M-O-R-Y-A. Moria, or whatever. The rays are part of the basic curriculum that you have to master. For this phase of your evolution, you have to master the God attributes of all of the 7 rays equally and know also the other 5 secret rays. And that's where there are other ones you have to understand. And you have to want these to come in because they all have teachers. And every night you go to sleep, you want to go to these sacred places for all these things. The book is called Telos, and there's 4 books. I'm on book 2. The rays are part of the basic curriculum you have to master for this phase of your evolution. You have to master the God attribute of all the 7 rays equally, and that's your 7 chakras you have to master. And know also the other 5 rays. So you have to understand these other higher energies and things. There is not one that is more important, greater, or lesser than the other. They need to be mastered, balanced, and understood equally. That's why I ask people, do you understand chakras? They, oh, yeah, I know. Most people don't know anything about the chakras. And chakra just means wheel, and it's an energy like. And you can see it in people if they're really healers or if they're dark, if they're bad, this and that. You can see it when you look at their chakras. It can't be hidden. Anybody that's an energy worker, if you open up your third eye and look at their chakras, you'll know everything about them. You know, you look at their auric field, their energies and everything. In different lifetimes, you may not always be working on the same ray. You are endeavoring to integrate and gain wisdom of all the rays, and that's why you have to master all your chakras. Joe Dispenza is trying to help people understand this, and they're proving it through science. You were originally created on one of the rays, and this ray remains your permanent ray, so you came in a certain color. When I was, like I said, in Edmonton, I went to this one place. People told me to go see this guy who was a master and a healer and that, and I didn't really want to, but I made up my mind and I went. And I went there and I paid him, and he said, "What do you want?" And I says, "Oh, somebody told me to see you do all this stuff." So I paid him and I sat down, and he says, "Where did you steal it?" I'm like, "What?" He said, "Where did you steal it?" I'm like, "Steal what?" He says, "Your purple aura." I says, "You can't steal a purple aura." And he asked me about 5 times, and he got really mad and sent bad energy into me. And I'm like, you're not a master. And if you think you can steal a purple aura, man, you got thousands of lifetimes to learn this stuff yet. And after that, I had nothing to do with them. And the people that went to him, I wanted nothing to do with them. But then they thought they were masters and they knew chakras and they did all kinds of crazy things with all kinds of practices. They were not nice people. And like I say, when you look at somebody's aura, you can see. Like yesterday while I was reading, Miranda was shown that I had this yellow golden energy light beaming off me when her third eye was open, and they showed it to her. And Jesus had a purple aura. When you look at Mother Mary and you look at a lot of these masters, they show them in this purple energy. Because they work with God, they're here to change the planet, they're here to do things. And you can see it in their energy fields. In each lifetime, you usually strive to gain a greater mastery in two of the rays. So right now, you're trying to figure out these two rays. But then, like I say, when you see all the colors, you understand. And I showed you a book that has about all the different colors and why and what they all mean. Two rays and balance the others in oneness. So two of them might be out that you need to figure out and heal. Once you balance, all the rest will come in alignment. You will do this until you have mastered and balanced all your rays at a deeper level, and until you have passed all required initiations for ascension. And that's where you got to clean all of this, all your lifetimes. You got to clean stuff up. Next one. People come here on the earth plane for the very purpose of forging their spiritual mastery. And that's what we're here. We're all here to become God. We're all here to become something bigger than this world wants us to know. Unless you diligently work at it, it simply does not happen. This is why you have chosen to incarnate so many times. You cannot expect to gain full mastery of the divine by simply wishing it or by association. It does not work this way. The perfection and refinement of the soul is accomplished through the series of incarnations in the three dimensions. That's why we have to have many, many, many lifetimes. For those of you who live with the illusion that the space brothers are going to come and rescue you, and that you can escape doing your spiritual work to evolve your consciousness, you are setting yourself up for a very big disappointment. And that's why I keep telling you, you better get the right information and things in here, and you better stop thinking somebody's going to come and blink for you or something. For those thinking that you are simply going to be taken unconditionally into the light realm, I say revise your thinking. The space brothers are not allowed to come and rescue you, and there is no need for rescue, because you have created the lifetime that you are now living for the explicit purpose of soul growth. That's powerful. Next one. In every lifetime, you incarnate back on the earth because of a personal choice you make. And like I say, it's always choice and belief, everything. Even when you go into these higher realms. In every lifetime, you incarnate back on the earth because of your personal choice you make. You have never been forced to come back here. And that's where people always go like, and I'm like, you chose it. Figure it out. It's a puzzle. Once you figure it out, it is amazing what you can do and what can go on. You choose in each and every lifetime the goal and the experience of your incarnation for the purpose of evolving your soul consciousness and to gain greater mastery. When you are on the other side between incarnations and become aware of all you have left undone during your last incarnation, you want to choose to come back. And that's what everybody does. They're going to go back into lower realms until they figure it out and heal and change it all. You really want to align and fulfill all the goals you have not met. And that's why you got to face all the hardships. You can't keep blissing out. You can't keep smoking joints and doing things. You got to clean it all up. Thanks, Jesus Christ. Cindy gets me these shirts from a place called Imagination Foundation. You can go on Google their site. They're really cool shirts. I like this one today. It's talking about the energies and the chakras and guys sending a beam up into the universe, and it's all the rainbow colors and everything. And I try to choose colors that's got a lot of pink in it because today is Friday, is Venus Day, and the color is pink. And this pixel dots is over this pink color underneath, and it's got all these little dots. And this color, shirt is pink. And if you understand Chinese astrology and that, and you know your astrology in Chinese for my sign, pink is a very, very good color. So using it for me really, really helps. Tomorrow I'll wear black. Sunday I'll wear yellow. Monday it's white or silver. Tuesday is red. Wednesday, Mercury is green or blue. Thursday is purple. And so if you understand the colors, I try to use certain colors. Sometimes I'll wear pants with that color or socks or whatever, but I'll be wearing the color for the day and trying to incorporate this because every day of the week is a god or a planet. Every month of the year is a god. And if you know these gods and that's why in Christianity they created this when they created the the calendar, because when the guy who created the Bible in the Roman Catholic Church, Caesar, whatever his name was, who brought Christianity in, he wanted to keep all the Roman gods. So he named each month and each day of the week of these gods, and we're worshiping them all the time. So in January, you're worshiping a god. Every day of the week, you're worshiping these 7 gods. And they programmed this into the calendar and trying to, like I say, allow these energies to work with you. The Chinese know this. That's why they use red as good luck. Because it is Tuesday. The god of war is Mars. And Chinese, they don't want a war. So they wear red. They use red in their symbols. They always use red and gold. That's why they're always lucky. Do you see Chinese fighting? Hardly ever. They live together. Sometimes there's 15 of them living in a little house. They don't fight because they use everything red. And if you make Mars happy, it's going to help you to win. Look at what happened after World War II. England. Look at what happened there. Look at Germany. Because Mars wants to change and bring good luck and all kinds of abundance and everything. And if you make Mars happy, it's going to do something to change your life. So I tell people, try to wear, if you're a girl, wear red earrings or a red, thing on your head, or wear a red dress or shoes or handbags or gloves or whatever, red crystals. If you're going to deal with somebody who wants to fight in anger, use the color red. Every time you got to deal with them, use the color red and wear it as much as you can. You're going to see, you're going to end up winning with those people. And it's a real truth. All of these things, these vibrations and colors, how it's talking about the blue and purple, there are energies and beings. If you're wearing that color and you're calling it in, it's going to do lots and lots of things for you. Because it's higher vibrations from the universe that have all kinds of things to help you. People come here to the earth plane for a very purpose of forging their soul spiritual mastery. I think I already read it all, but I'll read it again. Unless you diligently work at it, then it simply does not happen. This is why you have chosen to incarnate so many times. You cannot expect to gain full mastery of the divine by simply wishing it or by association. It does not work this way. The perfection and refinement of the soul is accomplished through a series of incarnations in the 3rd dimension. For those of you who have lived with the illusion that the Space Brothers are going to come and rescue you, and that you escape doing your spiritual work to evolve your consciousness, you are setting yourself up for a very big disappointment. For those thinking that you are simply going to be taken unconditionally into a light realm, I say revise your thinking. The Space Brothers are not allowed to come and rescue you. And there is no need for a rescue because you have created the lifetime that you are now living for the explicit purpose of soul growth. And this is where you can become God. You can become all kinds of things. Hey, warrior. In every lifetime, you incarnate back on Earth because of the personal choice you make. You have never been forced to come back here. You choose in each and every lifetime the goal and the experience of your incarnation for the purpose of evolving your soul consciously and to gain greater mastery. When you are on the other side between incarnations, become aware of all you have left undone during your last incarnation. You want and choose to come back. You really want to align and fulfill all your goals you have not met. You ask for another opportunity, another, again and again, until you feel you have completed this phase of your evolution. Each time you arrive here in the physical body, the veil is dropped again, and you feel trapped and cut off, totally immersed in the illusion again. Life on this planet has known many cycles of difficult lives for humanity because the conscious of people living here on the surface has dropped to such a level of density, distortion, and separation from divine principles. On this planet, humanity has gone as far as it can go into separation, and the lessons learned, the experience gathered, the knowledge added to the whole has been amazing. So we chose to go through all this craziness. Now we're ready to step out into something way more beautiful, and the Earth Mother will never be a 3D school ever again. The great experiment you so excitably volunteered to participate in from the various worlds and universes you all came from had the beginning time frame and an ending one, which happened millions of years ago. This grand experiment has assisted the people of Earth in becoming strong and courageous souls. And because of their great sacrifice, the soul of the earth, the souls of the earth are now being lifted into greater glory, forging for themselves a destiny so grand. You are destined to become the showcase to the universe and the teachers of the new civilization being born. And there's lots of new things coming into creation that we're going to be the teachers and guardians and helpers to all kinds of things. Going to be lots go on for the people that go up into this higher truth. As you align yourself with the will of God through the surrender, you are destined to become among the most in-demand souls anywhere in this or other universes. We're changing all of creation. That's what this whole craziness is about. And we're going to change everything since the beginning of time. Something big is really going to go on. And like I say, if you're here, call in this energy. Because everybody, when they come on here and they're attracted here, there's an energy that comes through. And God brought you here. And like I say, whatever it is I'm teaching in that, you're here for a reason. Ask to receive because you wanted answers. This is where you were brought. As you align yourself with the will of God through surrender, you are destined to become among the most in-demand souls anywhere in this or other universes. Planet Earth, which has experienced the greatest amount of darkness and pain, will soon be lifted to a state of great love and light, a way shower for others to learn from. In truth, there is really no other place like Earth. Be proud and hopeful to be citizens of this planet. You have suffered long enough, and it is now time for all of you to come home. It is with such wondrous anticipation that we are waiting to greet you and to hold you in our arms. We long to welcome you back into the valley of love, where the valley of tears has become the valley of joy. So the change is going to really, really go on. And the age of Aquarius, we're already doing it. We've been in the age of Aquarius for a long time. But astrologers are saying, oh, we're just starting. And they're saying, oh, in 1,000 years. No, we have been in this when Rudolf Steiner and a lot of people started channeling stuff in. That's why the Palladians, Orion, Syrians, and that have been giving us messages, because we are in the age of Aquarius. Science is going to start transforming, changing. Everything's going to go on. As you peel off the many layers of hurt and trauma from the past, many of you discover that you have a lack of trust in God and Spirit. And for you, surrender to the divine will is a fearful proposal. And that's where people are really, really stuck right now. They don't know what to believe, and they're chasing everything. They're going everywhere, burning themselves out, trying singing bowls, trying light language, trying this, trying that, drugging themselves up, just driving themselves insane. You feel that you have been betrayed and abandoned in this and other lifetimes, and you enter into frightening places. This is a core issue that has been part of the original fall of consciousness. Your original separation from your divine source created pain. Pain then created a world that you now live in. Separation allows for all the manifestations of individuation necessary to create the experience you have had on this planet. How can you truly know God and yourself without knowing what it is not to know God? And that's why we had to separate. And now we're ready to go back into that, and we will really fast. We just got to go through some craziness for a period of time, then we're there. What first started as a little fear and doubt eventually became a lack of trust in God and yourself. And that's where your higher oversoul is going to help you when it comes in. Your test now is to allow yourself to trust the divine again and to reverse the consciousness that has caused the separation from God for so long. The universe is a loving and benevolent place. It will provide everything for you when you trust. The fall gradually took place when a new soul in incarnation began questioning if God was always going to continue to provide. After millions of years of your Creator always providing everything for everyone without fail, many people began to contemplate what would happen if this suddenly stopped. They allowed themselves to fall into consciousness that if God should stop providing, what would have to start providing for them? They would have to start providing for themselves. This distorted concept that was the first held by only a few was eventually communicated to the masses. And this is where everybody agreed to this. The fears that gave birth to the lack of trust then became more and more amplified until the whole human race almost completely gave up their divine birthright. The rest is history. Surrender God's will presents the soul the initiation and opportunity to restore the divine birthright of each one of you. This is what you have to heal now, the lack of trust. To do so takes courage and commitment, stepping off the dock of what is known into a deep still water of the unknown is the ultimate act of trust. Let your heart listen to the call of your soul. You will know the choices that you can now make. You will know what your true purpose is here on this planet at this time of acceleration and evolution. And that's why a lot of people are here. And people, like I say, the children now, they only focus on the future. They have all the tools. Some of us are trying to figure this out. The fear that people have of trusting God is making a commitment to your higher self. And this is where you got to connect with that. That you want to return home and make your ascension and to gain your mastery. This requires that you clear all your issues. You have to clear up all your stuff, whatever it is in past lives and that you brought here. In the process, your higher self brings into your experience all of the shadow materials you have created for yourself throughout the ages. That's why past life karma, everything. We can look at all these past life things and we can heal and clear them up now. We have every opportunity to wipe our slate clean and step into something really, really beautiful. But don't fool yourself. Do the work. In the process, your higher self brings into your experience all the shadow material you have created for yourself throughout the ages. These issues must be looked at in order to give you the opportunity to make new choices in love, trust, rather than fear. All issues needing to be balanced and understood, any residual karma needing to be cleared, are all brought to your experience. That's why many people have challenges. People show up and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, here I am. And it's trying to help you to realize now you can heal and change and be free of that. Some people have followed you for thousands of lifetimes trying to destroy you, trying to keep you trapped, trying to keep you afraid. And if you could realize this, you can shift that. It'll cut that cord and free you from that person and allow you to move into something new. The facing of all of this can be temporarily challenging. You may think, I made a commitment to start trusting God and my life has become more challenging. This is where people, they get into all kinds of new spiritual shit and their life just goes to hell. This all kinds of craziness goes on, but you just got to keep going. And then you choose again to fall back into a cycle of distrust. The path is to allow whatever will be presented to you and to witness it, even if it is difficult for a while. That's why I'm like, face anything, face the shit, walk through it. No matter what the appearances are in your life, even if your life becomes temporarily more difficult, trust that you are on a new road and that the energy will finally shift. Compared to the millions of years of mistrust you have experienced towards your Creator, this homecoming to your true self can manifest rather quickly. And we're all doing that right now. It's crazy what's going on. Think of Job in the scriptures. He was severely tested, but he continued to trust. And when he was able to prove to God that he would continue to trust, in spite of everything he had lost, including his health, his wife, and children, all was restored back to him and much more. But first he had to journey through the dark night of the soul, and so will you. And that's where we're all going through this right now. Allow yourself the process of going through the dark night. Finally face all that you have hidden in the shadows for so long, without any judgment or attachment, because it is in these shadows that you will also find all of your gifts. You will rediscover the attributes of your divine birthright, and your full energies will be restored to you. You will once again trust your Creator. You will surrender in total love, will become your rescue, not your despair. All humanity is basically experiencing the same path of evolution. There is no need for shame or regret because of all you have the same issues. Every one of us are all dealing with all kinds of shit. Nobody is different. Your current experience may look different, but it is the same way for everyone. Lack of trust and the separation from your source have created this long, long journey of suffering. Now is the time to resurrect yourself fully through love and trust. I'm not sure if I want to. Yeah, I think I'm just going to finish up this chapter, 7 more pages, and then I'll put it down. When you can finally say, I will let go of my own misconceptions and fear and trust the process, no matter how painful it could get, you have taken the first and hardest step. When you finally face your heartbreak and your anger, it is not quite as painful as you expected. The process, if allowed, will take you all the way back home, and you will finally experience the end of all the suffering and lack. You'll understand the universe and your life with new compassion and softness. The struggle that has ruled your life will abate. And it says, once you have conquered that fear, everything is open to you and you can have everything without limitation. And that's what everybody wants, but they don't want to heal or do anything. It's like work through all of it, face all the crap. Nothing is withheld, nothing is withheld from you anymore. You will know with absolute certainty that this universe that you have feared for so long will provide everything you ever wanted and everything you ever needed. That you call the original sin, which is called the original breach of confidence with God, is basically the last thing you need to conquer. That correlates with Adam and Eve's story, which was a metaphor describing the lack of trust in God, which led to separation. Yes, Adam and Eve is just a story recorded with little understanding. Through the allegory in your scriptures may contain some level of truth. It certainly did not happen that way. The story of Adam and Eve and the fall from grace by humanity is very complex indeed. Someday all the true records will be made available to humanity. You will finally understand and learn much from it. The story is simply a poor representation of what happened and not an accurate one either. What is represented is that people stopped trusting in the Creator and went into fear. Aurelia has among her possessions a little book called The Sons of God by Christine Mercier. This is a story of a woman who decided to trust God no matter what happened to her. Her trust was put in the most extreme test. Through the hardships of her testing, she made a determined and heartfelt decision to never, ever again complain about anything. She continued trusting no matter how painful it became. Even though she made this deep commitment to her surrender, she was most severely tested. The happy ending of this true story is that in a very short time she balanced such a tremendous amount of karma that miracle upon miracle began to flow lavishly into her life. All she had lost was restored 100-fold. And I'm going to just highlight that because that's maybe another book I need to get. I mean, I read this years ago. I should have bought this book then. So, The Sons of God by Christine Mercier. So it's Christine is the writer. So if you're looking for a book to buy, to read, to help you, well, this might be the one. And she got everything back 100-fold restored during the testing. So if you're looking for a book to buy, to read, to help you, well, this might be the one. And she got everything back 100-fold restored during the testing. She reflected on her heart that her attitude towards her life situation was far from being as graceful and grateful as Christine was, and that she was harboring resentment. She read the book twice, then decided to apply the principles in an attitude of gratitude. As best she could, Ariela's situation improved almost immediately, and within a few months she was again happier than she had been in a long time. Her heart was free. Her financial situation was restored. Christine's book is worth its weight in gold for the way she described how she went beyond her very fear, the way this woman conquered her fear for herself and in her life is a great example for everyone to follow. And they say the attitude of gratitude. And like I say, most of us on this planet, we're not grateful for anything. Not anything at all. We're always saying, oh, I'm so poor. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Whatever. I would like to explain the purpose of being tested. Understand that God does directly test you for the sake of throwing curveballs just to be malicious. He doesn't do it just to be mean to you. When you open yourself to surrender to the sake of gaining back your spiritual freedom, you are not experiencing an outside force trying to trip you or make you uncomfortable. The testing is an opportunity you have invited for the sake of clearing and balancing negativity you have created in the past. You now choose to heal for the sake of spiritual growth and the experience provided and the grist for the mill. Allow this healing to take place. That's where I've been tested really, really hard throughout my life. And ever since I was a little boy, residential school, everything, running away at 9 years old and living on the streets. Wasn't easy. And like I say, I fell into drugs and booze at a very early age. And I fell into a lot of dysfunctions. But I made a decision when I was 30 to turn that around and clean up my life. The next one. When you put yourself into a state of total trust, the universe responds and starts providing immediately. God does not really want to test you. God is love. Oh, I'll go back here again. I think I skipped something here. I would like to explain the purpose of being tested. Understand God doesn't directly test you for the sake of throwing curveballs just to be malicious. When you open yourself and surrender to this for the sake of gaining back your spiritual freedom, you're not experiencing an outside force trying to trip you or make you uncomfortable. The testing is an opportunity you have to invite for the sake of clearing and balancing negativity you have created in the past. And that's where past lives, that karma. You now choose to heal for the sake of spiritual growth and experience provided the grist for the mill, Grist for the mill. Allow this healing to take place. And that's where we're cleaning up lifetimes of stuff. When you put yourself in a state of total trust, the universe responds and starts providing immediately. God does not really want to test you. God is love, and his love is unconditional. When you open yourself to surrender, we are talking about the universe will provide all the situations and opportunities needed to balance all of your issues and heal them forever. With great amazement, you will soon discover how quickly the universe responds to your request when you are aligned to your divine will. I want to express one more thing before the meditation. The minute you make a true and consistent commitment to your God presence, to total surrender yourself to the process of change and transformation, your presence will guide you to the fastest and smoothest way possible to obtain the object of your desire, to open the door to everything, or the door of everything. Opening to the will of God is done through the surrender, and the will of God is the very attribute that will take you all the way home to the grace. Souls on this planet have to realize that before they can be taken to specific masters for initiation and advancement, they have to first pass the test of El Moira, which are tests to surrender to the divine will. When you decide to make a real commitment to your ascension and to your spiritual journey, if you are not willing to pass the tests of surrender, how can you pass the other tests? Other masters may not be able to work with you until you have understood the various aspects of the blue ray. And then, when you have made yourself ready for another master, you are elegantly escorted to the master with a recommendation. I have been looking forward to giving you this talk about surrender. It is what is most needed at the present time. Going beyond fear is a key. As more and more people let go of their fear, it will become easier for others to do so. If you want to know how you can assist this planet, the most important thing to do is to let go of your own fear, surrender with love to what is, and let go of all judgment. The more you practice this and succeed and encourage others to do the same, the greater will be the pathway you are creating for yourself and for the rest of humanity. You can best serve your planet by clearing yourself first. And that's really important to understand. You got to heal yourself. You got to face all your stuff. So I'm going to read you the meditation, which is 1, 2, 3, about 4 pages. So the meditation, journey to the will of God, journey to the will of God temple in Telos. So you're going to journey to this place, into this purple blue energy and stuff like that, and you're going to try to surrender and allow for all of this to go on. We have in Telos a temple consecrated to the will of God. There is also a temple in Darjeeling, India, near to Tibet. Do that again. Somebody really trying to mess with me in all kinds of ways. Always interesting. If you guys can see this negative stuff, ask the universe what to do to clear it up and let it go back where it belongs. We have in Telos a temple consecrated to the will of God. There is also such a temple in Darjeeling, India, near Tibet. The retreat of the will of God is under a guardianship of the Master El Moira, both of Darjeeling and Mount Shasta. Many of you go there at night or come here to Telos to learn the initiations of the first ray of surrender to the divine will. Darjeeling is original temple for the will of God. It exists long before we built ours in Telos. They both exist in the fifth dimensional frequency and thus are not visible to your outer eye. Today I would like to take you in consciousness to our will of God temple in Telos. I ask you to focus in your heart and take several deep breaths. Consciously ask your divine presence of your higher self to take you on a journey with us to Telos. So close your eyes and meditate and listen as I'm reading this. And allow for this blue-purple energy and guides and teachers and all. I'll read it, and when I'm done, come back into your body. I ask that you focus on your heart and take several deep breaths. consciously ask your divine presence of your highest self to take you on a journey with us to Telos. See yourself arriving here in your personal Merkaba, accompanied by one of your guides. Notice a fairly large, opalescent blue structure, quite tall in form, about six-sided pyramid. As you approach, everything around you resonates with the beautiful blue energy, so refreshing and soothing. Allow yourself to walk up to the mother pearl stairway to the main entrance of the temple. Observe and feel the majestic blue mist emanating from various high fountains all around it. Many types of blue flowers growing in white and gold boxes are flourishing in great abundance and variety around the fountain, including the sweet forget-me-nots. Walk now through the entrance where the three blue flames angels are waiting to escort you and welcome you in. So there's these three flaming blue angels that take you in. As you enter into the large hallway, see a transparent chamber in the center containing a huge blue flame diamond, the biggest diamond that you ever saw, about 15 to 18 feet in height. Your guides invite you to enter the sacred chamber. The diamond contains several thousand facets, each one representing a different aspect of the diamond heart of the divine will. This diamond is not so different from the one living within your heart, and in time, all the wondrous facets of your own diamond heart will become completely activated and restored. Your diamond heart and your sacred heart are one and the same. They are components of each other. They are made of the infinite number of chambers, each one corresponding to the facet of your own diamond. As you come into the sacred chamber of divine will, you are greeted with Master Elmoira, a tall being with brown eyes who looks very much like a Zen master. He is wearing a blue robe partially covered with a luminescent white cape, with a bluish white and gold turban on his head. He greets and welcomes you to his diamond heart and invites you to have a seat on one of the blue flame cushions. He now guides you to focus on the energy of that diamond heart and to breathe in the energy so that you can bring as much of the energy as possible back with you when you return to your physical body. This blue ray is one that gives the power to the love ray. All the rays contain love plus the specific attribute of each ray. So this love ray has something really important to bring back into your body. In the presence of the diamond, you can open all of the little facets of your own diamond heart that are full of fear and let them go. Intend the energies of this huge diamond to magnetize and absorb all your fear, dear ones, for them to be released and healed. As you release these fears from your heart, you will receive a tremendous healing. Be aware that it may be difficult to release all your fears and burdens in one visit. This is why we are inviting you to return to the temple in Telos or in Darjeeling as often as you wish to receive deeper levels of healing. Inner healing is an ongoing process until you reach completion. Consider your effort as a work in progress. Be willing to stay with the process until all the veils are lifted. It is then that you will know that you are complete. Now connect with your higher self that is standing right above you. Your great I Am presence, the unlimited being that is really who you are, is waiting for all your fears to be released and healed. Connect with the divine presence, and if you feel ready, make your commitment to surrender all the fears that have kept you in so much pain so that you can be restored to wholeness. No matter what may show up in your life tomorrow, it is only a mirror of the fear of the old pattern of belief that you still hold within yourself that needs to be resolved and embraced. You will soon come to know, as you do this work, that there is nothing to fear except the illusion of fear itself. Keep breathing into this wondrous blue flame as much as you can, right into the lungs, into your heart. Do this consciously because you want to bring this energy back into your physical body. Also know that all multidimensional aspects of yourself and all the beings of light realms are supporting your journey home to divine grace. You are not alone in your journey. You have so much love available to you and so much support. Be confident that you can do it if you choose to. Feel the soothing action of the blue flame. It has its own way of bringing you comfort and lessening all your pains. Now, Master Elmoira and myself have a gift for each one of you sitting in front of the diamond in our temple. We are going to superimpose a smaller etheric diamond of total perfection, radiating the qualities of blue essence within your sacred chamber of your heart, right within the energies of your own sacred heart. This diamond will reflect to you the divine perfection of the diamond heart you are striving to acquire. With this gift, the perfection of the diamond heart will be reflected to you constantly as long as you choose to work with it. We are inviting you to start breathing in the energies every day in your meditation. Work with those energies every way that seems appropriate for you. In your meditation, ask for your higher self to show you which facet of the diamonds are still holding pain and unbalanced attributes that need to be healed and aligned. The diamond you have just received will continue to reflect everything you need for the complete opening and healing of your heart. It will take you to the path of surrender with joy and grace. It is alive and vibrant. Its color reflects the luminescent peacock blue. Keep breathing its energy with allowance to surrender to what is. Be resolute in walking this path. Feel free to communicate with your guide. Stay with the energy for a while and be thankful for the grace you have just received. When you feel complete, return to your body, taking this treasure with you. The more you remain conscious and work with the diamond heart, the more its energy will amplify and bless yours. This is a gift or tool we are giving you, but it will not help you unless you use it. Remember, what you don't use, you lose. This diamond heart also has a vibration of self-confidence. Tap into its self-confidence energy to assist you to release any fears so that your surrender can be accomplished gracefully. All the Blu-ray masters are available to you at this time, offering their assistance, so invite them in to help you. When you feel ready, open your eyes. We invite you to return to this healing place often, to meditate with us on the will of God, to continue to make the gigantic strides towards your spiritual freedom. And so it is, beloved. And then tomorrow I'll start on chapter 7, the violet flame of freedom and transmutation, the 7-ray activity.